Hi, everybody. Dottie San Martin here with Beyond the Frame. Welcome to our show today. As you know, over the past couple of weeks, we have been visiting with proprietors and industry experts and mechanics and all of those in our industry, the entertainment industry, to understand how they're making it through this unprecedented time. It's kind of exciting now. Our message is changing. We're starting to talk about reopening. Those of you that were a part of yesterday's webinar, Cubica AMF hosted a fantastic webinar talking about that, about reopening and what you should be doing now to prepare for a successful opening. Today, I have Mike Cannington. Mike is the Sales and Marketing Director for Bowland and HeadPinz Entertainment Centers in Florida. Hi, Mike. How are you today?
Man, I'm fantastic, Dottie. Thanks for having me on today. This is going to be fun.
Oh, you are so welcome, Mike. It's really exciting that we're starting to hear talk of reopening. And we've got, I believe it's tomorrow, that businesses in Georgia will be allowed to once again open their doors. So, I'm sure that you guys have been thinking about that and talking about reopening. But before we get there, I kind of want to talk with you for just a second. I have followed you guys for a long time on social media, and I know during this time when you guys have been closed, y'all have done some really cool things for your employees. Can you tell me just a little bit about that? I got to actually see it on social media, so that's why I know about it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the unfortunate part was we had to furlough a lot of people. The good news is, though, we work for Pat and Lisa Sinello, and they have a heart as big as the size of Texas. And so it wasn't long after the first wave of people were furloughed that Pat came to us and said, look, we need to find a way to feed a lot of these displaced workers. And so we've set up in the last 3 weeks, one day a week, usually Thursday or Friday, we provide a meal for any one of our furloughed employees who wants to come. And also we give them enough for however many people are in their household. So we're doing those things. Now, we've been fortunate enough to get the federal stimulus money, and we're starting to bring those people back to work. It won't be long, and we'll be at 85 or 90% of our workers will be back on the job.
Oh, that's wonderful news.
Yeah.
I'm sure that those employees can hardly wait to get back. As we are starting to talk about reopening and what that's going to look like for your center, what plans are y'all making right now? What has been the talk of how this is going to affect your operations once you do reopen?
Well, it's actually starting right now. We've been very deep into repair and maintenance, cleaning. I was at a center yesterday, and they were actually painting the ball racks where the house balls sit. So all that stuff is already in process. We had a conference call with our general managers and senior management team this morning to talk about just exactly that. What's it going to look like the day the governor or the local county commission says, hey, you guys can open your doors? We want to be mindful of people's health. It's in place to, test the temperature of all of our employees coming in. We'll have hand sanitizers everywhere. We're talking about the new way of sanitizing all the balls and the rental shoes, and will we have shoe covers and things like that. So, you can't just open up one day and open up. You've got to be planning for it all along. And while we don't know in Florida, it still could be 2 or 3 weeks. But those are the critical times now that we've got to be doing what we do, because we want to give people a great experience. We want them to come here and know that they're in a safe environment. So that work is already underway.
Absolutely. And what that message is so important to give our customers right now. They need to know, they want that assurance that everything is going to be clean. And it's nice when you can share what you're doing. I mean, that has such an impact on, when they're able to see that you are so proactive. I know I've even heard some centers that are going to have dedicated, staff members that are they're educated in sanitizing and cleaning.
Yeah.
And they're going to have those people, clearly marked,
Yep.
with maybe identifying shirt or whatever, that their sole purpose is to make sure that this facility is in tip-top shape. And I think that's, just extremely, extremely important. Now, you had mentioned that you're going to do temperature checks for your employees, which I think is a really good idea. Now, there seems to be some talk about whether or not employees should wear masks when they reopen. Have y'all had any talk about that?
We have, one of the biggest problems you honestly face is the supply. There
Hmm.
just isn't a lot of readily available, I think there's a difference between a mask and then a mask that really does what it's supposed to function to do, to block things from coming in. But we're not gonna miss a step. If the decision makers somewhere else say, hey, look, we want your staffs to be wearing masks and gloves, we're going to abide by those things, and we're going to invest in all of that stuff. It's funny you mentioned, we in our call today, we talked about the sanitation station. We're going to bring in these carts into every one of our centers, and they're going to be fully equipped, and they're going to be logoed up, and it's going to be right in customers' face that, man, we take this sanitation and cleanliness and germ killing very seriously, and we're going to have them in. I don't know whether we'll have them in a yellow vest like a street crew, but
Uh-huh.
they will. You will
Good
definitely
idea.
know that that's the sanitation engineer at HeadPinz or at Bowland, because they're going to be going around. They'll be wiping down surfaces. They'll be checking balls and cleaning things. And if somebody goes, hey, I don't feel comfortable, can you get me a new one? That's, we're going to go to the nth degree to make sure our customers know that they are in a very, very clean and safe environment.
Absolutely. And Mike, with you being in marketing, I know that you understand this. Just like anything that we do for our customers, you have to let them know what you're doing. So that needs to be part of, your marketing message when you open back up is these are the things that we're doing. Your safety is so important to us that we're doing, the cart and all these other things because the customers appreciate knowing they like to be included in that and they appreciate knowing that.
Yeah, I think nobody wants, we don't want to treat it like the Wizard of Oz, right? You don't want the wizard to be behind the curtain and nobody knows what's going on.
That's
This has
right.
to be right in their face, right when they walk in the door, and any of our marketing messages on social media, we do radio, we do a bunch of other things down here in Southwest Florida. It'll be a prevalent part of our message for the foreseeable future. I don't know if that's 6 months, a year, but however long it takes to reassure people, that's how long we'll do it.
Absolutely. And it is going to change the way we do things. It is going to be the new norm. And I know a lot of people don't like hearing that, but it is going to be the new norm going forward. So I think that it's natural. It's going to be a part of your marketing message from this point on. I'm also curious. I know you guys book out months in advance
Mhm.
your lanes. So during the time that y'all have been closed, what happened to those events that were already booked?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of them that were in the near future, right? We closed on March 17th. So any events between March and the middle of May have probably been, we did our best to try to reschedule people, but a lot of them were canceled, obviously, for concerns. But it's interesting, just in the last couple of days, and I can't make this up, in the last couple of days, we've had 3 requests for big group functions. I'm talking 350, 400, and 450 person events to
Uh,
happen in October and in December. So there is a pent up demand. And I think that the operators that do this right and put all the, check all the boxes as far as the cleanliness and sanitation and all that. I think those are the ones that are going to be able to stand up in front of customers and reap the rewards in 6 months or so down the road. We're going to be busy.
yes, I agree. People have been cooped up for a long time, and
Yeah.
especially when you are going to the extent that you guys are going to show the customers that your facility is clean and that you're doing, the necessary steps to make sure that that experience for them is nice and as germ free as possible. I think that's going to be, it's gonna pay off in the long run. So, so let me ask you this. Are you planning on any type of like grand reopening or a soft opening or anything along those lines? Do you have anything
Well,
already
we
planning?
haven't really discussed that much. The irony of the timing of all this is this was our big anniversary year. In the year 2020, was the 40th anniversary of Pat owning his first bowling center, Beacon Bowl, down in Naples. It's the 5th anniversary of this location at HeadPinz Fort Myers, and 2 other locations that we're going to celebrate 30 and 35 years in operations. So our parties were going to be along those lines.
Sure.
If I know Pat well enough, once it looks like it's clear enough that it doesn't look like we're just jamming something in somebody's face, I guarantee you we're going to throw some kind of party. But it'll be a safe environment, and we'll do it the right way. But yes, we need to celebrate. We need to celebrate when the time is right.
And you just hit upon something, when the time is right. There's that very fine line of opening back up. I know that there has been talk of, some people that have opened up too early or stayed open longer than the city felt like or the customers felt like they should, and they were getting backlash on social media for that. And I think going forward, you're probably going to see the same thing if you're not letting people know the steps that you're taking to make sure that they're safe. So I think that's something to be really mindful of as you start to open back up. Okay, so very good. One of the things that I've heard that some people are doing kind of to get their employees back kind of in the swing of things and reacclimated to the new way that you're going to be doing business. I know that there's been some people that are even talking about doing some sort of almost like a soft opening, but for the frontline employees that have been, working through this time. So that's kind of one of those best practices that I've heard. That's kind of a cool way to get back, plus it's a good way to show your community support as well.
Well, I will tell you that, and on our team level, we've started a couple of things to, again, furloughed staff coming back. We're doing webinars that they can do either, at a computer here at work, or if they want to work from home, they can do that. But pretty soon we're going to start to bring them back into the facilities. Again, we have capacity guidelines, and social distancing that we have to pay attention to. But that said, absolutely, we can get people back in here and let them experience hyper bowling, and let them experience Best X, and let them experience the things that they might not have got to experience for a long time when they were busy working. And so that gives them a renewed kind of interest. We want them to be excited and positive when these people our customers start to come back through. So absolutely, we're going to try to do all those things over the course of the next few weeks.
Absolutely. Well, what challenges do you think you might encounter as y'all reopen?
Well, I think the unknown, right? The unknown of, is it going to be a strict limit on, we're in a 50,000 square foot facility here. Is there going to be a limit on the number of people you can bring into a facility that can easily hold 600 or 700 people? That's a challenge that we don't really know. We won't know until those guidelines are, whether they're set in stone or written in pencil so they can be changed later. But, those are the things that we'll have to work with. We'll also have to work with the trepidation that some people might have if they've been away from humankind for a few weeks, of what it's like to come back into a social environment and to be able to interact and be social. Because look, we're social people. Most humans are social. In bowling, in the entertainment world, is a social outlet, and we gotta embrace that and let people know that it's going to be okay, and we want you to come be okay with us.
That's right. That's right. I think those high fives are going to turn into elbow bumps and toe bumps, but you know what? That's okay. It's still showing your support. So
amen.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely. Well, a part of each one of our Beyond the Frame live shows, we like to ask our guests if you have a message of hope that you would like to share with the people that are viewing.
Well, I would say to other proprietors, be a good proprietor, do the right thing, get your staff involved, get your facilities up to speed. You've got a second chance to make a first impression, right? This is going to be brand new to a lot of people. Do the right thing. Be a good community supporter. Do things in your community leading up to your grand opening, reopening, whatever, that you're allowed to do within safety's sake. But, be a positive force. The moth is attracted to the flame for a reason. You want to be like a flamethrower. Don't be just a flame, be a flamethrower. Get out there and do some things and get people excited because they want to come hang out at the cool place with all the fun people. who are also safe.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Mike, I'll share with you. There's so many comments coming in about how nice your center looks behind you.
Good.
And as I was sharing, Mike and I were chatting a few minutes before we went live, and I was sharing with him that on our blog here in the next week, we're going to be talking about how you can show your support for the community. And Mike was just it was beautiful behind him to have all the blue lights. So the trend is to light it up blue or light it blue and show your support for the frontline workers that have been so graciously working through this pandemic, and then posting it on your social media, hashtagging it. So you have the perfect look there, Mike. The lanes are beautiful behind you.
You gave
So
me my
you might
video
want to
idea for
think
next
about
week.
that.
Yeah. You
That's
gave me
right.
my
Well,
video idea. That's it. Yeah.
absolutely. Watch the blog. We'll have all the little tips and nuggets of information on how you can do that. So, but your facility is beautiful. The only thing that would make it look more beautiful is if you had a full house.
Amen.
So those
Yeah, no
times are
doubt. No
coming
doubt.
again.
They are.
So
They're absolutely coming again.
it won't be too long. So, well, I really appreciate you taking time out to be with us. This is just such a great platform for us to learn from others in the industry, not just bowling, but just in the entertainment industry as a whole. We know that we are a very close knit group of people, and I think that the silver lining to every situation has a silver lining, and I think that this has shown us just what a close knit group of people bowlers are, and that bowlers really do care. And so I think that's really neat. We have the topic that we have used all week long, or we've shared all week long, is reopening. And as I said, if you did not get an opportunity to watch the webinar yesterday that was hosted by the tech support manager and Brian Kane, one of our proprietors, uh, they shared some best practices and tips of what you could be doing right now to prepare your center for a successful reopening. So if you missed that, you can find that on the Cubica AMF COVID-19 support page. There are links to all kinds of information there. You can access the Beyond the Frame content. You can access the blog that I referred to earlier, Best Extras. So if you haven't checked that page out, I advise you to do that. Mike, before we wrap it up here, do you have any closing remarks that you would like to share?
Yeah, real briefly, I would just say, be strong, be safe, and get ready. Because I'm telling you, they're coming. And it might be a slow start. It might trickle at the start, but I'm telling you, they're going to come and they're going to want to do business with you. So be ready and be proactive. And let's have fun. And because, as I tell Pat all the time, we sell fun, we sell experiences. Let's sell safe fun and safe experiences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We will get through this. And I really firmly believe that bowling is going to come back, and it's going to come back with a vengeance. It's going to come back bigger and better and stronger than ever before. And we will get through this. We just have to think beyond the frame.
Yep.
Next week, we are going to continue. We're going to host a webinar next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and that will be focusing on the best practices for today's operator. So if you have not made plans, go to Beyond the Frame and register for that. And then we'll pick up on next week's Beyond the Frame live segments with some additional guests that are going to tell you their stories and how they have gotten through this struggle. So until then, once again, Mike, thank you so much for allowing us into your house and sharing your time with us today. And viewers, thank you for joining us today. We've had a good group, Bill and Joey and Kathy. Thank y'all so much and for joining us. And until next time, we hope that everybody stays safe and well and prepares for a very busy future. Have a good day, everyone.